Okay, so today I will be designing my OC Soren's mom. I've been wanting to make her design so I can get a grasp on her character. Hopefully, it'll help me write the lore, which I definitely have plans to write. I plan to make this somewhat of a series because it's actually giving me motivation to design the characters I need to. So the characters I have lined up so far for that is Soren's father and the vampire royalty type family. I haven't gotten it all cleared out yet, but stay tuned. I'm still trying to post every month, but I keep procrastinating script making, so I'll film it, but I won't film the voiceover for weeks. I also don't like doing voiceovers, but here we are. I actually made this drawing in speed paint thing on June 17th, and as of recording, it is July 19th. Anyway, jumping into the video, I made a Pinterest board for the ideas of Eleanor. I wanted her to have a Morticia type vibe. I also wanted her to be made of sharper features instead of round, because her transformation thing is a cat, a panther to be specific. I also wanted her to look like Soren, since obviously he's her son. And going back to the panther thing, in my lore, vampires don't only change in bats, they change into different animals depending on the person and depending on your overall vibe, aka I just didn't want to draw bats over and over and over and over again, so I decided on a panther for her because despite her being somewhat evil, I do want her to serve absolute cunt. So I also wanted to give her an older vibe, 30s and 60s and 50s era, with the black and white film and the transatlantic accent. I just really like that era of movies and music, so she's being cursed upon it. Later on, I do try to give her a slick back, but because I can't draw bare foreheads for the life of me, I just put a few strands. I tried to give her an elegant gothic air about her, since Soren's family has ties to the royal vampire family. Again, just don't know what I'm gonna call that, but whatever. It's a little wordy right now. I think for her lore, I'm gonna have her not be fully bad, but still so deeply in love with her husband that once he turns evil, she goes with him despite how it'll affect her 2 children. I tried to draw the body in my sketchbook, but it didn't look right, so I ended up tracing it off a 3D model, so sue me. Side note, my sketchbook got stolen while I was at a skate park after filming this. To the grown man who took it, I hope you have to wear Pampers in your late life, since you want to be that childish to steal a sketchbook. What do you gain from that? There is no monetary value. My $100 headphones were right next to it. Right next to it. Moving on. I designed her dress mostly just from memory since I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. For the animal design I gave her, I chose an all-black panther because I think they're just always serving no matter what, like most big cats. And, I feel it plays into her Victorian Gothic style, since we all know the rule that any goth serves cunt and looks badass. I didn't give her many scars, but I added in a vampire bite on her neck and a C-section scar along with a few random ones because I can't forget my edgy warrior cat roots. I also tried my best to mix in the elements from Eileen, since you're supposed, and heavy quotation marks, you're supposed to make the parents before the kids, but I didn't. So I'm just trying to incorporate elements that if you looked at it a different way would seem like they got that element from their mother, which they obviously didn't in this order, but who cares. I was gonna try to switch up my template style to be this having a half body, but obviously, as you can see now, I didn't. I'm sorry for the glitchiness that does happen. I don't know why it's been happening, but it has, so we just gotta deal with it. For her skin tone, I mixed Soren's and his sister Eileen's together to make a lighter in-between color. I gave her more pinkish eyes to connect her to Eileen in a way, since if you zoom in, she has pink eyes. She is a love vampire, which I know is a succubus, but I don't want to call it that, so it's a love vampire. She feeds off of love. The reason I'm designing her to look similar to Soren rather than a mix of both the kids is because since it's only 2 kids and there's not like extras in there, I want Soren to look like his mother and I want Eileen to look like her father, which they share the same set of parents, so obviously they're siblings. Right now I'm just going in with the shading and trying to figure out the hollows and peaks of the face and seeing where it's sunken in and where it's not. Since she has an angular face, she has a leaner one and shows more cheekbone. Can you tell I don't know what I'm talking about? I also don't know how that side profile just appeared. It's probably something to do with the glitching my iPad was having. I'm thinking it might have been to overheating while I was drawing, but, you know, I don't know. Now I'm drawing the body like I was talking about earlier. It didn't really go well, but I tried to make it work for like a straight minute or 2 with this unsped up. It's painful. It didn't go well. I tried to put the face on. It didn't work that well. It just didn't look right, so I switched it to a 3D model that I like to pose more of anyway. But on the 3D model, I didn't like how it looked, so I changed the body type a little to give her the right figure, I imagined. I'm not giving her as much hip as it was, since I want her to have that like long, lanky figure silhouette, which is also why it's canon that she gave birth to Soren and Eileen via C-section, because her hip bones were too narrow for the other kind. I don't know why that's a problem. I do know, I just forgot it. But it's something to do with the baby or the mother getting injured. So, I actually just looked it up. If the pelvis is too small, the baby's head can't pass through and it causes like a prolonged head or something that breaks the skull. But it normally leads to a prolonged labor or an emergency C-section, which in the lore, that's what she had. I struggled a bit with keeping the face the same, but you know, fuck it, we ball. So I just traced over the other one I just drew, and I tried to incorporate different older elements of fashion into her dress, but you know, I'm no dressmaker, so it may not make the most sense. I'm not sure if it makes any sense. It might not even make dollars, but whatever. I got it to a point where I eventually settled on just liking it because I couldn't change it anymore and make it look good. But I like the high collar and the corset-y type look. I don't know if the structure of the corset looks right, but you know, at least I'm past the artist stage of just putting your OC in hoodies and jeans, so let's just celebrate that. I know it'll be a pain to redraw in the future, especially with the future animatics I'm planning, but it's just a curse everyone has to deal with at this point. I hate that Procreate makes things so pixelated when you move it, so if anyone knows how to stop that, that would be great, because it's annoying. I also cut off the feet because I don't want to draw her shoes. It's really hard. I didn't know what to do. I think my posting schedule should stay mostly the same because it's just drawing, which I already always do, and then taking like 4 hours to voice over, which yes, this does take 4 hours because I can never think of anything. It's annoying. But school is coming up on August 6th. I don't think that's enough to dox myself, so you know. I'm truly not looking forward to it at all, and I am not looking forward to SATs, and I'm just not looking forward. If anything, I'm looking backwards. But at least it's one step closer to finishing high school and getting out. I hate it so much, but there's gonna be new drama when I get there, and I am a sucker for drama. I love it. Do I love being involved? Not as much, but sometimes you gotta get involved to get the correct outcomes. I may get my ass beat, but that's the way of life, I guess, in high school. Getting back on topic to the video, I tried to give her a duller color palette, but I didn't want her to have like gray, horrible vibes, so I gave her a pinky, reddy type look because I'm biased and red is my favorite color and you can't stop me, and I just felt like it looked better. I didn't give her much makeup other than a bold lip and some eyeliner because she was forced into being a housewife. Now for her actual animal figure. I drew it in my sketchbook, then traced over it digitally, mostly because I suck at sketching things digitally. I also chose the panther. Again, we're back on this topic. I chose the panther because I really love big cats, and I had a super bad hyperfixation on big cats for like 3 years. It was mostly mountain lions and lynxes though, so. But I love big cats and cats in general. I own about 11, 8 of which are currently in the living room. I'm holding Coco right now and stopping him from walking on my iPad as I try to voice this. He also smells like a Build-A-Bear for some reason. I don't know how he smells so good when he licks himself clean with his dirty tuna mouth. And a cool little fun fact, most of my characters, most is being very generous, it's like 3. Most of my characters have a name related to a song, like Brutus, who is obviously Brutus by the Buttress, Eileen, who is obviously from the Come On Eileen song, and Talia from Ride the Cyclone. She does not act like Talia, she does not look like Talia, but it stuck with me because as I was making her, it was stuck in my head and wouldn't leave. And, you know, if you push the boundaries on this little name thing, Cash is named after Back That Thing Up. I definitely want to name more characters after music. Like, I have an idea of one being Bruno from the Bruno is Orange song, but I don't know how that goes. I plan to make it a werewolf, not only because I think I have too many vampire characters, but also because Bruno just seemed like a very werewolf type name. I know in her lore that I want her to have a near-death experience, like to the point she's bleeding out, and before she fully bleeds out, she gets turned into a vampire to save her, probably by Soren's dad. I haven't worked it all out yet. But that's why she has the bites on her neck. Instead of being a natural-born vampire, she was turned into one. That's also why she doesn't have a diamond carved into her skin. Definitely not because I forgot to put it. But diamonds are a signal of how close you are to the royal family. I think Sorens has his on his hip, and Eileen's is on her face. The more painful and big it is, the more of a disgrace you are, but they still have to signify that you have a connection to the royal family based on your bloodline and heritage and all that. But Eileen's is big and like carved deep in her skin because she is a trans woman and also a lesbian. Ooh, double whammy. And anything that is not considered normal, per se, like being trans or gay, God forbid, is considered disgraceful. So she is considered a huge disgrace, and she was, in the past, the main heir of her family, considering she was the firstborn son. Not anymore, obviously. Now she's a model on the runway, serving absolute face, and is doing great with her butch mask lesbian girlfriend. I haven't decided what she is yet, but you know, whatever. Little do they know, though, Soren is also a homosexual. It's horrible. Disgraceful, even. And once they find out, they're like, oh, shoot, this is our only son left. We gotta make this work. So they banish off Brutus. They try to get him to marry a woman. It doesn't really go well. I'm just spoiling it a bit now. It does not really go well. He ends up running away, going to Bruce's place, which is also across territories. So he's kind of starting shit like that too. But he returns back eventually, leaving Brutus super heartbroken because his family does not really give a fuck if you're gay, straight, bi, trans, I'm forgetting all the other ones. But his family doesn't care at all. His family doesn't like him though, but that's mostly because when he was a kid, he pissed off a witch real bad, got a sigil carved in, which since he's a werewolf, it's a sigil against wolves, which means he cannot form a pack relationship with other werewolves anymore. So, it's a little bad. Not the worst thing. He could be dead. But since Soren's their only heir, they eventually thug it out. And it goes bad at some points. But they eventually end up together and are happy-ish. Heavy on the ish. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Like and subscribe and comment. Please. I'm desperate. Also, I am sorry for all this slurring and this sharp S I'm doing. I don't know why it's happening. Could be that it's 3:47 a.m., but I'm not really too sure. Moving on from that, for the background, I tried to do a film and camera type vibe, but I don't know how well that went. It's a little distracting. I'm also trying out new intro and outro, but I don't know how good it looks. It may be subject to change. I've been putting this off because I'm trying to learn how to animate in tween. Animation coming soon, by the way. At the same time as like a speed run before I go into my junior year. It's not going that well, but we persevere. Got a new sketchbook too, and I decorated it earlier in the week. You can see it on my TikTok, link in the description. I'm also trying out different soundtracks, so let me know which vibe you like best, this one or the last video. I hope y'all have a good morning, evening, and night, and I will be back next month.